of familiar faces, a lot of new faces as well. Welcome to everybody online. I guess we'll just jump right in. We're going to be talking about AI and accessibility. That's how you know that this meetup is legitimate, because we're talking about AI. So we're on the bandwagon. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let Julius give his own introduction. It's going to be a great talk, I know already, and really engaging. So yeah, and then so we'll have Julius's talk. We'll have questions, plenty of time for questions as well. And then after that, we'll have pizza coming in, and where the snacks and drinks were, we'll congregate there for some food and some more chat. Sounds good? All right, I'll give it away to Julius.
It's awesome. Thank you so much, Maya. Hello, everybody, and hello to the our attendees online. My name is Julius Serrano. I'm an accessibility consultant and advocate. I also do independent contracts for a company called Access Advisors. So a little bit about me. I'm a person who is totally blind. And I've been in the field of accessibility for close to 18 years now. What I love about accessibility is that, apart from it directly benefits me, it's so much more. It benefits people with disabilities and people without disabilities as well. So here, we are going to talk about AI and accessibility, okay? This is a 45-minute talk, and it is designed to inspire you to learn more about how AI is shaping accessibility. Let's provide an overview of what we're going to talk about. First, we're going to talk about the key concepts of AI that have a direct impact on accessibility. Second, we're going to talk about the benefits of AI as it relates to accessibility. Next, we're going to talk about the risks, the potential risks that affect accessibility when it comes to AI. We're going to talk about the design principles, what you should do and understand in order for you to support accessibility in terms of AI. And then we're going to have a nice, exciting demo of one of the most popular AI platforms in the perspective of somebody who is totally blind. Okay, cool. So again, as Maya mentioned, questions, please save your questions for after the demo and during our chat with pizza. Okay. So is anybody here hearing the screen reader for the first time, or is everybody familiar with the screen reader? Familiar? Nice, fantastic. So the screen reader is the assistive technology that totally blind people, such as myself, use in order for us to interact with and operate the computer and other devices. Let us talk about the key concepts now. So first, data sets. This is the foundation for training AI. Artificial intelligence needs a huge amount of data in order for it to function. Now, based on what I researched, where does AI get the data? It gets it from social media, mainstream media, and even academic resources. It is very important at this early stage to understand that the data sets, the data being used by AI needs to be representative when it comes to people with disabilities. We're going to learn about that later, but I'm just seeding that as an idea. The next key component, machine learning. Now that AI has a huge amount of data set, it needs to have a technology to use that data to predict and make conclusions. So when you're using an AI platform, it's the machine learning technology that does that, to predict and make conclusions out of the data that it is working with. Natural language processing. This is a technology that interprets written or spoken data and converts it into something that the machine understands. In terms of accessibility, natural language processing has a huge effect in that there are assistive technologies that are able to receive information from people who are people who have disabilities, who cannot use their hands, who can only verbally instruct. More on that later. Generative AI, creating original content. This technology enables the huge amount of data that now has a way to do predictions and conclusions to generate new content. It's really awesome nowadays because as a person who has visual impairment, generative AI allows me to create images by just inputting text on a specific field. So I'm able to like create images even if I cannot see them, just by instructing and providing text input and descriptions. So it's come full circle. I start with an alternative text, and AI using generative functionality is able to produce that image based on the alt text that I have, which is really awesome. Computer vision. This has changed the lives of so many people. So a huge example of computer vision, which is a type of technology that enables AI to interact with the world visually. One of the best examples there is an app on my phone, which enables me to take photos, and then that app provides detailed descriptions of that photo. Computer vision also helps in navigating and finding locating things, especially when you can't see, you dropped an object, you can actually use that app or that software enabled for people to navigate things that they cannot see. Speech recognition. We've talked about data sets now, and we've talked about NLP, or natural language processing. Speech recognition is the technology that converts spoken instructions or spoken information into a way that can be understood by AI. It is very similar to like the technology like Siri and Amazon's Alexa and Google's Assistant. That is the very key component that those AI functionalities are using in order to convert spoken instructions or spoken information into something that can be used for functionalities and instructions for the computer. Cool. Now, let's talk about the benefits of AI when it comes to accessibility. Image recognition. Image recognition. Again, this has changed the lives of so many people. So, in a regular, in a typical day, when I have a nice little photo online, what I would do without AI would be to ask a colleague or a friend to describe to me what the image looks like. And depending on where the level of consciousness that person is, or depending on the mood, I could get either a nice description or, Julius, it's an image of a dog. Can you tell me more about the dog? It's a brown dog. What do you want me to say? The level of description provided by AI sometimes far exceeds the amount of description that people can provide. Assistive technology. There are functionalities such as eye tracking software that use AI functionality that are AI powered. And these eye tracking software are super useful to people who cannot use their hands, who can only provide input using their eyes. So using eye tracking software based on that is AI powered, people who do not have functionality using their hands, who can only provide input using their eyes, are able to interact with web content and as well as the other functionalities and apps on their machines. That's just one example. Of course, you also have voice-activated technology that are based on AI. And these are all examples of assistive devices that have that directly benefit people with disabilities. Virtual assistants, we've mentioned Amazon's Alexa, Apple's Siri, and Google Assistant. Those are super useful for like people with disabilities. And what I've discovered, they're also super useful for people, for elderly people, people who cannot use their hands. So with just a simple instruction, they can schedule an alarm, they can schedule reminders, they can also find out about the weather, which is super useful for people. With just, if for instance, you have limited fine motor skills, you can actually talk to the virtual assistant for information and to do certain tasks in your household. With the benefits come the risks when it comes to AI. So the first risk is socially biased data. Unfortunately, people with disabilities are less likely to be featured in a positive way in mainstream data, mainstream media, as well as social media, and even in academic resources. So when that happens, the AI functionality, for instance, you have an AI-powered system for hiring. When the data set is biased, meaning there are pieces of information that are not exactly accurate, that are about people with disabilities, this may disadvantage people with disabilities who are already struggling to find employment when it comes to hiring. So it is at this stage, it is very important to understand that the data sets that we have need to be representative of the diversity and the abilities of people with disabilities. I think one of the key biases when it comes to accessibility, a lot of people still believe that accessibility only benefits people who are blind. That's one of the information that is not exactly true. There's also information in that people with disabilities, particularly people who use screen readers, cannot use PDFs. Yes, they can, as long as the PDFs are made accessible. So those are the pieces of information that are sometimes common knowledge, but not exactly accurate. Accuracy concerns. Although AI is powerful, there's still instances. For example, imagine a person who is using a map-based navigation system, a person who is totally blind, that has AI functionalities. And there might be times wherein the current address is not exactly the correct address that is being displayed on the phone. That could lead to misunderstandings as well as unfortunate events. Also, when a person who is using a voice-activated system is using an AI-powered app, and there's sort of like misunderstandings, it could result to the person who is using the software to struggle in using the actual functionality. Although AI is super powerful nowadays, there's still times when it's not 100% accurate, and there's still human judgment needed in terms of ensuring that the data is correct. Security issues. Okay. Sometimes AI functionalities, they might store information about the user. And if that if those information are not secure, 100% secure, they could be open to security breaches that could compromise the information. This becomes more important where people who are already vulnerable have their information exposed to like unwanted intrusions. So it's very important to ensure that the data is 100% secure when it comes to using AI functionality. So we've talked about the key concepts. I like to call it the what section of our talk. We've talked about the benefits and the risks. I call it the why section. Now let's talk about the how section. How do we ensure that accessibility in terms of AI is supported directly? Let's talk about designing inclusive AI. Here are some of the 6 key points. Apply inclusive design principles. It is very important when you're designing AI platforms, it is very important to make sure that accessibility and inclusion principles are implemented at the very start of the development while you're designing the data set, while you're designing the AI platform. It is also very important to ensure that that AI systems and technologies are perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust, i.e. following the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Ensure representative unbiased data. It is very important to, when you notice that there are biased data, it is important to call it out, to report it. Because when stereotypes and biased data are perpetuated, are continued, this could significantly impact the usage, and also it has a social impact on how people with disabilities are perceived and how people with disabilities have used AI. Accommodate flexible input slash output options. It is very important when you're designing AI platforms to make sure that it accommodates flexibility. Make sure that when you have voice-activated AI, that it can accommodate different accents, even different instances where the user has a speech impediment. It is also very important in terms of flexibility to make sure that it is accessible via the keyboard if it's in a desktop, and when using the mouse. Not use plain language. That's the next point. Not everybody's tech savvy. So make sure that the prompts and the outputs are clear and understandable, and make sure that you're using people first language. Enable personalization. This means that as much as possible, you're providing a way to adjust the font settings, to provide high contrast settings for people who have limited vision, and just making sure that they're able to customize the environment according to their access needs. And that's one of the best things that we can do in order to ensure that AI is accessible, is to include people with disabilities in design. This can be done through interviews and just getting in touch with people, finding about their access needs, the main issues they encounter, and making sure that those issues will not be experienced in the platform that we're designing. As we look at these 6 points, apply inclusive design principles, ensure representative unbiased data, flexible input slash output options, plain language, enable personalization. We're going to realize, actually, I'm sure that you can appreciate that almost all of these design principles are like standard principles that can be applied not just to AI, but to the web content that we're currently working on. Cool. Now, I would like to provide a quick demo of how a blind person uses a screen reader to interact with one of the most popular AI platforms, which is ChatGPT. So here, my goal is to provide you how, as a blind person, I'm able to use and interact with ChatGPT and use its functionalities to help me understand and perceive web content. Okay, cool. I think I need to do a quick unshare. Okay, I'm gonna unshare so that, and then share again. The purpose why I'm doing here is so that our friends online will be able to hear the screen reader. Okay. Share screen.
Mute, currently unmuted, Alt plus A.
Now type a Y in the chat if you're able to
PowerPoint slideshow.
hear
Demo.
the screen reader. I'm gonna also increase the volume to make it louder.
Bullet using ChatGPT.
And I'm gonna slow it down.
Rate 30. Rate 20. Demo.
Can everybody hear the screen reader in person? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Now nice.
Screen sharing, Google chat.
All right, so let us test the accessibility of ChatGPT. My intention here is to provide a demo of how I, as a blind person who cannot see the screen at all, can use ChatGPT. And let's identify the good features as well as the points for improvement when it comes to ChatGPT. So here, let us do a quick
Out of section.
explore of this platform using the screen reader.
Heading level 2 chat history.
Okay, you have the chat
history navigation landmark button close sidebar.
You have buttons.
Button new chat.
You have a button with to start a new chat.
Visited link.
I'm pressing the down arrow key. I'm not using the touchpad because I cannot.
But visited link chat GPT.
Okay, you have the link.
Visited link. Link button explore GPTs.
Okay, you have explore
Heading level
GPTs.
3 yesterday.
Okay.
List with 3 items visited link accessibility testing proposal.
Ah, okay.
Explore GP mainland chat new chat button. Close sidebar.
Let's close that just in case.
Chat visited
to hide the content.
link button explore G heading level 3 yesterday. List with 3 items visited link accessibility testing proposal.
It's still showing it. Okay, I'm very curious why.
Out of list.
Chat
history navigation landmark close sidebar button. Make button new chat.
Okay.
Button open sidebar.
Okay.
Button
cool.
menu button collapsed sub menu graphic user.
So far I can hear that buttons that communicate their current state. Do you hear that?
Chat user graphic menu button collapsed sub menu.
It reports collapsed. That is the elements way to communicate to the screen reader and to the user that this element is currently collapsed.
Heading level
That's
1
good.
where should we start?
Where should we start? Okay.
Heading level 1 circle. Menu button collapsed sub menu. Button attach files.
Okay, there's a way to attach the files. Now, what I've noticed through my experience in ChatGPT, it has significantly become more accessible. There was a time when a lot of these buttons don't have any label. So I had no idea what this button is for. But right now, at least 95% of the buttons are labeled. Cool. Let us play around with ChatGPT.
Section multi-line editable message chat G. Message chat.
So
space CREAE space CR space EAPA G space explaining black space G space D space A C E A B R T space T O space 6 dash Y A R O L D dot.
Because sometimes my 6-year-old daughter says, "Daddy, what do you do?" So I'm gonna ask for ChatGPT's help.
Please create a.
Please, I don't know why I say please, because I'm a good guy. And then I can press the enter key. So our goal here is to create our first prompt, review it.
Please create a script explaining digital accessibility to a 6-year-old.
Okay. Let's explore it further.
Out of section button, send prompt.
And then the send prompt button is properly labeled, so that's good. if I could either press enter on the input field or just press enter here. And then let's listen to how this ChatGPT communicates the progress of the output.
ChatGPT.
Okay. Okay, cool.
ChatGPT is still generating a response.
Is it? It passed something.
ChatGPT is still generating a response.
Okay. But I can perceive.
ChatGPT says colon. Here's a fun and simple.
Okay, nice. So good. I don't know how real time that announcement. You probably saw the entire output while the screen reader is still saying ChatGPT is generating a response. But let's explore the output now. So far, we've seen buttons that are collapsed that clearly communicate their state to screen readers. We've heard text inputs that are labeled. We've seen buttons that have clear action-oriented captions. Now let's look at the actual output. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the top of the screen.
Out of set button, new menu button, button share, menu but heading level 5, you said colon.
Ah, okay, you said. Now let's look at this. It's heading level 5.
Heading level 5, you said colon.
So the screen reader also picks out the type of element based on the source code. It started with heading level 5. Now, I can acknowledge that this has used correct HTML. Whether or not the heading level is correct is a different story. I would say it's not correct because it started with the heading level 5. But still, it makes navigating the input and the response a lot easier. So for instance, I don't need to, I know what I typed.
Please
here.
Create a script.
I can simply use one of the screen reader functionalities, which is to skip to the next heading to go to the actual response provided by ChatGPT. So in this case, it is an H key, which stands for heading.
ChatGPT said colon, heading.
Which is a screen reader only functionality, which is super useful, which enables me to skip from one heading to another. But it's very important to know that I'm only able to use that heading shortcut if the web content uses actual heading tags. So let's listen to it.
Here's a fun and simple script explaining digital accessibility for a 6-year-old colon.
Okay.
Separate.
So
title colon.
Okay, so I'm going to read everything here.
Title colon. What is digital accessibility? Characters colon. List with 2 items. Bullet narrator. Bullet kid out of list. Scene colon. Kid is sitting at a computer looking confused. Narrator walks in. Narrator colon. Hey there, what are you up to? Kid colon. I'm trying to play this game on the computer, but it's kind of tricky. My friend Sarah wants to play too, but she says it's hard for her to use the computer sometimes. Narrator colon. Oh, I think I know what could help. It sounds like we need to talk about something called digital accessibility. Kid colon. What's that? Is it a type of game? Narrator colon. Not exactly. Let's break it down. You know how when you play games or use a tablet, sometimes people need different things to help them. Kid colon. Like what? Narrator colon. Well, some people might not see very well, so they need bigger letters on the screen. Others might not hear as well, so they need words or captions to understand videos. Kid colon. Oh, like subtitles when I watch cartoons? Narrator colon. Exactly. And some people may have trouble using their hands to tap or click things, so they might use a special keyboard or their voice to control the game. Kid colon. That sounds cool. So everyone can play in their own way. Narrator colon. Yes, that's what digital accessibility is all about. It's making sure everyone no matter what can use computers, apps, and websites. It's like adding ramps for people who use wheelchairs, but for computers and phones. Kid colon. That makes sense. So when something is accessible, it's easier for everyone to use it. Narrator colon. You got it. And it's super important because everyone should be able to have fun and learn online, right? Kid colon. Right. I want Sarah to play with me, so maybe we can make our game more accessible. Narrator colon. That's the spirit. Digital accessibility makes the world.
All right, cool. So what we've just done is we've entered our first prompt. We've explored the accessibility and identified a couple of issues, like when it comes to like the heading level. But at least, based on my experience, ChatGPT has improved its level of accessibility. I know other platforms wherein we don't have that heading, we don't, the input and the responses are not organized in headings. So for me, it takes a lot of arrowing down to go from input to heading. And sometimes, you know, when I input a long prompt, I need to arrow down multiple times just to be able to go to the output. And there are other examples wherein it's just not clear to me where the actual output starts. But this is helpful because it clearly says, you know, in other platforms, you have the input, and then directly below it, you have the output. So sometimes I'd have to become super familiar with what I've typed versus what the AI's output is providing. But here it is super organized.
No next ChatGPT said colon heading.
It said ChatGPT said, and if I go back to the input,
You said colon heading left.
Says you said. Okay. I'm just mindful of the time. 6:33. Now let's look at the other functionalities. We've talked about image recognition earlier. Let us do a quick demo of how, as a blind person, I'm able to use AI to perceive and understand and appreciate images. Okay. So here,
Read aloud button. User graph.
okay. So there's also a read. Before that, there's also a read aloud functionality.
Read aloud button.
Again, there was a time when these additional functionalities do not have text caption. So I'm left to guess, oh, what is this button for? Because previously these didn't have any text caption.
Copy button.
Copy.
Good response button.
Good response.
Bad response.
Bad response.
Good read aloud button.
Let's make it read aloud just for laughs.
Stop.
Here's a fun and simple script explaining digital accessibility for a 6-year-old. Title: What is digital accessibility? Characters: Keen. Kid is sitting at a computer looking confused.
Okay.
Narrator walks.
Nice. Okay. So my goal now is to demonstrate image recognition. So what I'm going to
Copy.
do.
Good response but bad response. 4 menu button. Close button. Menu.
I've identified
button.
This button right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Button.
This doesn't have any text caption. Can anybody tell me what that is for? Can anybody see where I am?
Close button.
This one. It's right beside
Document. 4 menu button. Button. Download. Get more match sarcat. Button.
that one. Oh, that one.
We think it's a back down button.
Download. Get more sarcat graphic button. Menu button. Attach file section. Out of section button. Out of menu button.
It's right
Button
beside.
close.
Anyway,
Menu button. Collapsed sub.
let's do.
Close button.
Okay, but yeah, that just proves that, you know, although it has a good amount of accessibility, there are still buttons that don't seem to have any text caption. Anyway,
Close button. Menu button. Attach files button.
let's
Menu.
do
Connect to Google Drive menu item. Connect.
attach
Connect
files,
to upload from computer.
upload from
Main
computer.
landmark. Open dial.
I'd like to go to
Items. Tree view. Left. Items view. RT.ai index. Info-A. LP.jpg.
this one.
Chat GP.
I just find it annoying when I'm blind and the only menus online are a JPEG. So here,
Chat G. Section multi. Message chat DIA was TA space DIAES AND space DESCRIPTIONS
okay.
space OSTA space AENU
I
space UPLOAED chat G.
So this is super helpful. So rather than having somebody to read it for me,
Chat G. Here's a list of the dishes and their descriptions from the menu you uploaded, colon. Heading level 3 starters, colon. Chat GPT list with 6 items, 1. Chat GPT Nyanya platter.
okay. So it's basically taken the menu, which is a JPEG, which is completely inaccessible to somebody who cannot see it, and it has extracted the text, which is super helpful. I don't have to ask anybody to read to me the menu. And then
Loreback or deep data available after 5 p.m. 2.
there's also some notes
Mini
there.
curry puffs left vegetarian
I could
available.
just read it. I could just copy it, paste it on a Word document for future reference. Now, the last thing that I'd like to
Section
show
send prompt menu button. No next button.
is
Send
for
prompt menu button. Set attach files button.
images,
Menu
actual
connect
images.
connect to Google. Connect to upload. Connect upload from. Open dial. Items info dash lp.j code rt.j.
Okay,
Chat G.
one.
Chat. Men section. Section.
So again, I have no idea what's on the image. Let me just show it to you, just so you know.
New tab. Item file name call items info dash lp code line rt dot.
This is the image that I uploaded. Okay. We're gonna find out what it is.
Chat
Okay.
GP. Section. Out of section button attach. Menu button close graphic. Section multi-line. Section focus multi-line editable message.
Help me
Chat
check. I have uploaded it, right? All right, cool.
DES CRIDO space UPLOAED.
And sometimes I even make spelling mistakes, but it still understands me, which is really nice.
ChatGPT, the image you uploaded shows a serene forest scene with tall trees lining both sides of a
let's
winding.
listen to this description.
The image you uploaded shows a serene forest scene with tall trees lining both sides of a
Sorry.
The image you uploaded shows a serene forest scene with tall trees lining both sides of a winding road. The road, which has two yellow center lines, leads through a dense, misty forest. A car with its headlights on is driving along the road, heading toward the viewer. The lighting suggests it's early morning or a foggy day, with soft rays of light filtering through the trees, creating a peaceful and somewhat mysterious atmosphere. The lush greenery of the forest is vibrant, and the road appears slightly damp, possibly from recent rain or morning dew. Button read aloud. Button copy.
That
Button
level of description is actually super rich. And I mean, to be honest, if I ask somebody, a colleague, for instance, to describe me, they're just gonna say, well, it's a picture of a forest with a road, with a car. Just those three key elements. But here, I also recognize the potential, for content managers and people who provide alt description. If an image is functional, if it's not decorative, it makes the process of creating alt text so much easier, which could greatly enhance the browsing experience of people who cannot see the image.
Slideshow bullet using chat.
All right. So in our time together, we've talked about AI and how AI is shaping accessibility. We talked about the key components of AI and how they relate to accessibility. We've talked about the benefits and risks. We've also talked about designing for inclusive AI. And we've had a quick demo of how a totally blind user who uses assistive technology is able to interact with AI to create functional web content as well as image descriptions for text embedded in images, as well as to understand and perceive and appreciate image content. Cool. So again,
Power bullet with the. We're here to help.
I'm working for a company called Access Advisors. And if you'd like to know more about the work that they do, please feel free to contact them. Cool. They also have a website. They have a newsletter. I encourage you to check it out. And thank you very much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate you listening to a person with vision impairments perspective of AI and how it relates to accessibility.
Awesome. That was super interesting. We'll do questions now. Yeah, I guess maybe I can start the questions and then we can pass to the crowd. We have this mic, so we'll just make sure that whoever's speaking is speaking into the mic so that people online can also hear. So you mentioned that ChatGPT made a lot of improvements since it first started. What for you was probably the biggest thing one of the things that really stands out to you that made it like significantly more accessible?
Two things. The headings made it super organized, made it clear where the input starts and where the output starts, and the majority, I said 95% of the buttons have been labeled with clear action-oriented text caption.
Nice, cool. Let's open it to the crowd. Any questions? Yeah, we got one over here. You can say your name.
Yeah. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Can you hear on this? You got me? Okay. Hi, Julian Patton, similar name to yours. Yeah, one of the questions is, first of all, can you tell me, have you been blind since birth?
Yes, blind since birth.
Okay.
I lost my eyesight. Actually, I lost my eyesight. I was nearsighted for 16 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I lost my eyesight when I was 16.
Okay. So you have been able to have some visual representation?
Yes.
The reason I'm asking that is because sometimes if a person has never seen an image, or the visual area, then they have difficulty working out what something that is actually visual, or what we see every day. So you have been able to still have some sort of recognition that has helped you within the brain as you've lost your sight?
Yes. Also, yeah, totally agree. Also with colors.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been blessed to be able to still remember what red or orange or yellow or green looks like.
Yeah.
So it's an entirely, I mean, I have no idea how somebody who is born blind could actually like be able to perceive colors if they haven't seen it, or like the dimensions, or what, forests look like.
From what I understand from some totally blind friends, apparently they can, colors have vibrations.
Nice.
So they can feel that sometimes, or they can sense stuff. So AI perhaps will be able to help improve that ability for them.
Totally. Well, if anybody here would like to share, because I'm speaking from the perspective of somebody who used to be sighted but has lost his eyesight. So anybody here or online like to share?
Hi,
Yep. Cool.
Julius, it's Lauren. Yeah, so as a totally blind person, not sure what friends you've got.
Do you have a microphone, Lauren? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool.
Is this working?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So I'm not sure. I feel like the vibrations and colors thing is a myth. Sorry to burst your bubble. But I mean, maybe I'd like to know the secret if it is a thing. But from my own perspective, for me, having been blind from birth, perceiving color has been kind of just a matter of like in some ways learning by rote. So understanding which colors match and coordinate and which colors don't, and things like blue is the color of the sky, like those kinds of things are really unhelpful because like a sky could be lots of shades of color depending on whether it's cloudy or sunny or what is going on. So I've really learned about colors as a kind of abstract theoretical concept. I've found though, since being able to use AI more and provide it with images. So when I was coming out this evening, I used the app that you were talking about before, Julius, on my phone. I took a photo of what I was wearing and I said, are these colors coordinated? And it said, oh, you're wearing this and this, and this is like, sometimes it might say, this is a bold statement.
Nice.
And then I think, oh, maybe not, but then it might say, well, it depends, like, because some people are really artistic and they like to make bold statements. So they're like, if you feel comfortable with that, then like do it, but you might want to consider like some other colors. And so I feel like it's given me the confidence to like try new things in terms of choosing colors. I've been able to do like shopping online and have it describe the clothes that I want to purchase. And so whereas I wouldn't have done that before. So I feel like I've had the confidence to try new things like visually that I wouldn't have done. Yeah.
Nice. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that.
Cool. Thanks for that. Yeah.
I'm just wondered what the name of the app on the phone you guys are talking about is called.
Oh, cool. Lauren?
So there's a couple. So Be My Eyes is the main one, which was originally designed for people to call a volunteer and get like visual help that way. But they now have an AI component in it called Be My AI.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But there are other apps like Envision and Seeing AI, which is a Microsoft app, and they do similar things. And some of them have glasses as well as the phone. So a little bit more expensive, but there's really, really interesting things in the blind tech space now with glasses and with lots of different kind of aids for perceiving information and navigation.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Cool. Anything else? Anybody else? Oh, yeah.
Have you had a scenario in which the AI or whatever you use to read the image kind of mislead you a little bit, or it's not quite accurate, or it's not quite as helpful?
My experience, not yet, actually. There was a time when, I would say there was more detail than what I expected, which resulted to me like, okay, let me read that again. There was super rich information. So for me, it's more of the level of detail and how it provides so many things. But I'm trying to recall. There was one time when I was using the Be My Eyes, there might have been like a bug where I know what the t-shirt looks like, but it provided a completely different description. So I didn't know if there was just an error. That's why one of the risks is like accuracy concerns sometimes. It's super powerful, but it's not 100% perfect. Cool.
And I think that your use cases are a really good example of why accuracy is really important. Like as a sighted person, if it's describing an image, I can make a call about whether I think it's accurate or not. But if somebody is low vision or blind, who is relying on those descriptions, then it makes the accuracy all that more important.
Totally.
Because we can only fact check it so much in that sense. Yeah. Interesting.
Cool.
Anything else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions?
We have one more. Yeah.
Microsoft.
Hey, Julius, I'm not sure if this has been asked, but with the level of detail of the description of the image that it gave you,
AI
is it something that you would expect from, let's say, alt text for most images on a website?
I guess that is too verbose. Most of the time, it would land to stay with 150 characters, and I do believe that exceeds 150 characters. So it's good for like if you find the image, it's good to like just pick out the most important components, because the level of description is super detailed that I wouldn't want to hear that much information in alt text.
Can I just ask a question? Sorry to like overtake, but I'm just curious if we asked ChatGPT based on that image if it could provide an alt text, and if we could see how the alt text might be different from the description that it gave us.
ChatGPT button go menu ChatGPT section multi-line.
So an effective prompt would be provide
space
provide the alt text for the image or the uploaded
provide the alt text for the image I uploaded.
And then the forest thing is the last one, so it's gonna remember that it's the last one, right?
Yeah, it was last one.
ChatGPT.
So compared to
ChatGPT
and then
circle chat heading left alt text : quote a car with headlights on drives down a winding road through a dense misty forest. Tall trees line both sides of the road, and soft sunlight filters through the foliage, casting a serene and calm atmosphere. The road appears slightly wet, enhancing the peaceful early morning or foggy setting. Quote button read.
Well, that was shorter. I didn't actually expect that it would focus on the car, because I know based on searching on the image that the forest was the focus.
Yeah. And yeah, as seeing the image. The alt text is focused a lot on the atmosphere as well, and the feel of the image rather than like a visual description of the image. So that's also interesting. Lauren, you had a question or a comment?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a fully formed thought, but when you said 150 characters max, is that for just decorative images or all images? I'm thinking of at Education Perfect when we would have like diagrams, and I'd be like, how am I supposed to, describe this in alt text? And what they actually started doing was linking out to transcripts to explain like more complex diagrams, which I guess is necessary. So 150 characters just for decorative images, or just a blanket rule. I don't know, because you can't always, yeah.
So for let's start with decorative images. For decorative images, you want to have like null value for the alt text. Like for horizontal bars, like anything that don't add any information. Now, 150 characters is for those informative images that add content to the text surrounding it or to the web page. But you mentioned also diagrams. I would classify diagrams as detailed images. And for diagrams, graphs, chart, and artwork that require detailed description, you could either provide it inline, a longer description directly below the image, or a link, provide a link that would take the user to a page that actually contains that long description.
Yeah.
Does that answer?
Yeah. I think that's what they were doing on your advice. So yeah, I think.
Cool.
Any other questions? Yeah. Any other questions? Cool. And online, we just had somebody say thank you, and that was very insightful.
Cool.
Well, with that perfect timing, pizza's here. Only for people in the room. Online, sorry, you have to come in person next time. Just a round of applause again for Julius for a really interesting and engaging talk.
Thank you.
We'll wrap it up here. Thanks again to Julius. Thanks to Alfaro and for Aleph Accessibility for sponsoring. Thanks to Access Advisors as well. Thanks to everybody for joining us. It was a really great time. Julius is going to stick around, I believe, and you can chat to him some more. Yeah, let's mingle and eat.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody online.